Welcome to the modern dilemma. Team iPhone or Team Android? When it comes to kids, there's only one safe answer, and that's Android. We'll break down how iPhones make parenting harder, why Android gives you more control, and what every parent needs to know before handing over that first phone. So, let's imagine it's your child's 13th birthday. You hand them that shiny new iPhone. Proud moment, right? Well, 2 weeks later, you're scratching your head, wondering why you didn't know about the late night group text, or the hidden apps, or those YouTube videos they've been binge watching under the radar. Or if you've ever felt that ping of panic, oh no, what did I just unleash? You're not alone. Today on Parenting in a Tech World, we're pulling back the curtain on why giving your kid an iPhone might actually be the riskiest tech choice you can make. From Apple's lockdown permissions that keep you in the dark, to the total lack of real-time monitoring on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat, every default feature can become a blind spot. But there's hope. We'll show you how Android, especially purpose-built solutions like the Bark phone, flips the script. You'll get granular app controls, instant pause buttons, contact approval workflows, and deep content analysis across over 30 apps, all without the gimmicks or workarounds. Let's get into it.
We hear about it, we read about it, we talk about it constantly. iPhone over Android, what your kids should be using. I mean, even adults make jokes about people using Androids. Right. iPhone is a household name. It's, biased. I've used an iPhone for years, love my iPhone, very happy with my iPhone. I will continue to buy iPhones no matter how many times they change the ports and the plugs, and I still have things that I can't use anymore. But
you're an adult.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Kids, on the other hand, don't need iPhones. And that's a hot take that I think that we'll stand by for forever.
Yes.
So let's just start with all the reasons why they don't need an iPhone.
Exactly. And we felt this way before we offered a safer smartphone for kids. P.S. We have never changed our stance on that. In fact, one of the reasons why we launched a safer smartphone for kids is because so many parents were buying their kids iPhones instead of Androids, and as a result, they needed Bark because they had so many problems. Yeah. And Apple did not make it easy for those families to keep their kids safer online. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to get really fired up today, but I think it's warranted. Again, I love iPhone. For me as an adult, this is an iPhone. This is a MacBook Air. I'm wearing an Apple Watch. Love the Apple interface and operating systems and design, and it's great. But I'm an adult, and Apple prioritizes privacy, not child safety.
Yes.
Period. Don't take our word for it. Check out the HEAT Initiative. Check out Chris McKenna's content at protectyoungeyes.com. Listen to Nikki Reisberg of Scrolling to Death, another amazing podcast and video podcast to listen to and watch. Why are iPhones bad? Well, let's just start with an analogy. Most parents don't give their children, when they are able to drive a car, a Ferrari. Variety of reasons.
Yep. That's
what you're doing when you hand them an iPhone. Not a wise choice.
Yep.
iPhone allows your children to take nudes, photos, and videos, which happens to be child sexual abuse material. CSAM, not good. The Bark phone doesn't. Right. If a child has a Bark phone and goes to try to take a nude photo or video, the Bark phone recognizes that that is material that doesn't need to be captured on a digital device and does not let the child do so. And Apple has the ability to do that, and they have chosen not to.
Yeah. In fact, they've made it so that if you're sent an image like that, they blur it, they tell you what it is, and then give you the option to either look at it or not look at it.
Yeah. If I'm 13 and somebody sends me a nude and I'm into them, I don't think I'm going to have the self-control to be like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at this. Thank you, Apple, for keeping my brain and heart pure.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be like, show me the nude.
Yeah.
No.
Make it make sense.
Right. Okay. So, so there's CSAM stuff. But also, Apple has the ability to stop, limit, flag those nude images and videos of children that have been uploaded to iCloud. perhaps not only by children themselves, but by predators and sextortionists. And they were going to work to address that, and they decided not to. So they allow that stuff. And there's a whole nother episode we should probably do on that, perhaps with the Heat Initiative. In fact, let's have Sarah Gardner, the CEO of the Heat Initiative, on our podcast. Sarah, invites coming your way. But Apple decided that pedophiles, predators, sextortionists, child abusers deserve the same privacy as everybody else when using iCloud, and they decided not to move forward with that effort. And I think kids deserve more privacy and protection than those people. Like, maybe I'm nuts for thinking that. I don't know. There's glitchy parental controls via screen time. Again, you don't have to take our word for it as a competitor to Apple, full disclosure. Look at the Wall Street Journal and TechCrunch and Mashable and go to the Apple support forums and communities where parents are complaining. Ask any Apple genius at any Apple store. Have you had parents come in being like, hey, my screen time's not working? You will hear that it is not working because it doesn't work because of bugs.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to hide things. Children can just change their time zone. So when parents set parental controls, it doesn't apply because they're in Guam.
Little do you know.
Not New York. You're right. Apple's built for adults. And they do a really good job with privacy, but it's so private that it doesn't allow parents to fully monitor and manage, and it doesn't allow third-party platforms that are very stringent about privacy and security to help Apple with those efforts. And if Apple was good at these efforts, that would be one thing, but they're not, and they should open the door to vetted security solutions to help keep kids safer online.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's news out there and there's articles upon articles upon articles talking about how glitchy their parental controls are, and air quote parental controls,
lack of parental control.
Yes. Yeah. And to your point, they have every opportunity, and they probably have some of the smartest people in the world working for them, and they just refuse to do anything about it. I think is what's more frustrating than the fact that none of it works. It's that they just seem to not care.
Or own up to it. Be like, hey, we know we could do this, but here's why we're not.
Yep.
Just own it.
Yeah.
Let us know why you're not doing this.
Yeah.
Instead of having fuzzy things like communication safety, where we're going to blur things and let your kid know there's a nude if they click on it.
Yeah.
What's that going to do?
I mean, I don't think they understand the damage that does. And if they do understand it, they still don't care.
Yeah, I mean, what child isn't going to lean into their curiosity?
Right. They're young.
They're impulsive.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk some more about the core limitations of iPhone parental controls.
Yes.
And while Apple's screen time and family sharing tools do cover the basics, right? They will allow you to block apps. Although if your kids already downloaded it and you make them delete it, they can just re-download it without your permission. And they allow you to set downtime. But again, there's workarounds, time zone, et cetera, or just request 1 more minute. They do require ask to buy if you turn that on. That's helpful.
Yep.
That's helpful. I will applaud them for making sure my car doesn't get charged just because my kid can download things. Here's some of the frustrations outside of the ones we've already covered. You need an Apple device to manage your child's iPhone.
Yep.
So there's no way to control your child's iPhone from Android or the web. You must use another iOS or Mac OS device to adjust settings. With Bark, you can control your child's Bark phone or other settings from your phone, no matter what kind of phone it is, or from any internet connection by going to bark.us.
Simple.
If we can do it, Apple can do it.
Yes.
Also, third-party apps are severely restricted due to iOS's rules. Monitoring apps aren't allowed to run in the background to capture text and calls in real time. Now, and most require you to back up your child's iPhone to a computer or only sync while on the same Wi-Fi. Thankfully at Bark, we're rolling out some exciting things that we can't talk about yet, but we will have some solutions for you iPhone families coming.
Yes.
I would say summer to fall 2025. So don't be discouraged if you've already given your kid an iPhone and you just don't want to make a switch. We'll have some help for you. But in the meantime, you're limited, and it's not Bark's fault.
Yep.
It's iPhone. And also, I would say before I just pause and take a breath, is that screen time and app limits lack granularity. You can schedule downtime or limit entire app categories, but you can't block individual contacts or set custom timers on every app or instantly pause the phone without a complex workaround. Now, that fact, my source is Tom's Guide for that. If for some reason that has changed, feel free to let me know in the comments. But, I'm drawing on not only Tom's Guide, but our parenting group, Parenting in a Tech World.
Yes.
Literally over 600,000 parents giving us this feedback and their frustrations with Apple there.
Why does Android give parents more power or control over the device that their child's using?
Great question. And that's why we chose to go with an Android for the Bark phone, the best, safest smartphone for kids, whether it's their first smartphone or you're just trying to make a switch for your 15 to 17-year-old. Android offers cross-platform management. Their Family Link app, which is their free built-in way of time limits and filters and stuff, works on both Android and iOS. So thank you, Android and Google, for doing that, for being way cooler than Apple. The second thing is just true real-time monitoring. Parental control apps on Android can run as essentially the device admin, letting you see SMS, call logs, app installs, location. On iOS, currently, the same apps can only scan data when conditions like connection to home Wi-Fi are met. So Android just makes it easier to monitor.
Yeah.
Number 3, Android gives parents more granular app and call controls.
Yes.
So does Apple let you have some oversight into who can or cannot text your child and when? Yes. Android is better. Android is more granular. Number 4, social media and content scanning. And this is probably one of the primary differentiators.
Yep.
Apple will not let third-party platforms dig into YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Everywhere kids are, Apple's not letting third-party platforms into them. So third-party platforms like Bark have to figure out workarounds, which we've done very well for almost a decade now. And we've got some really amazing things coming later this year that will help Apple families. But Apple is not helping families directly.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Android, on the other hand, permits deep integrations so you can automatically, flag explicit images and catch cyberbullying and predatory messages and all kinds of bad things that are happening way faster. Because I would say as a parent, you want to know as soon as possible when your child is encountering dangerous content and dangerous people.
Yeah. Android
makes that a real possibility for parents.
Yeah.
iPhone does not.
Okay, so for parents who maybe have already given their kid an iPhone, they're facing all of the struggles that we know parents are facing when it comes to them. They're at their wits' end. They're done with the iPhone. They want to move them over to an Android or the Bark phone. How can parents navigate that conversation with their kid? Because, I think one of the biggest things that kids complain about when it comes to using an Android is they don't have the, long sought after blue message bubbles. They have green ones, and that's embarrassing, and kids get made fun of. So how can parents have, ease their kid into a transition like that? Is it possible?
It is possible, but you have to be prepared for pushback.
Yeah.
You're taking away your kid's Ferrari and giving them a Honda.
Yeah.
That's not going to be as fun for them.
Yeah.
So what? Is it your job to make them happy, or is it your job to keep them safe but allow them the ability to communicate and connect effectively?
I love it.
So, yeah, but be prepared. They're not going to be thrilled. Like, they're not.
Yeah. They certainly won't.
No. But choosing Android gives you real-world, on-the-go visibility into how your child is using their phone, who they're texting, what apps they're installing, which websites they're visiting, and when they're offline, without the gaps and workarounds that you get on iOS. You can tailor every rule, you can pause the phone instantly, and trust that you won't miss a critical alert.
Yeah.
And that's how to be a good parent in a tech world. When you go with the Bark phone, it comes safe out of the box. You don't have to go through I can't believe I'm about to use this word, rigmarole. Like, where did that come from? Is it 1935? But you won't have to go through that in order to like set up all the things and then make sure that the latest iOS update hasn't thrown all of the things out of whack.
Yep.
There's built-in parental controls on the device. It doesn't look like a baby device or a clunky device. It's really sleek.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're launching some even more powerful Android devices for the Bark phone. So those will be coming too. If the phone's processing power is just not enough for your kid, let's say you want to go from a Honda to like an Infiniti, but you're not ready for, Lamborghini. Cool. You're going to be able to have that with the Bark phone.
Love it.
The advanced content monitoring is critical because it's one thing to set screen time limits and filters, but inevitably kids are going to find a way, and the bad stuff is going to find a way to them. So do you want to know about it or not? And the cool thing about Bark is that it's not spyware and it's not giving you a novel of everything that is coming in and going out of your child's phone. Bark is only going to save alerts that it sends you for like the critical things you need to know about.
Right.
Are they struggling with suicidal ideation? Are they being bullied? Are they the bully? Is a grown man trying to sextort them? That's when you're going to get a Bark alert.
Yep.
That's not going to happen if you're just going with an iPhone with no parental controls.
Yeah.
Also, the Bark phone, because it's an Android, has tamper-proof settings. Kids can't install VPNs or otherwise bypass restrictions. Our CTO, Brandon Hilkert, built the Bark phone for his own kids because he was like, if my kids are going to have a smartphone, it will be this one.
Right.
I'm going to build it for them.
It's so cool.
It's the coolest.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it because it's fantastic.
Exactly. Exactly. So, again, I love Apple. I love iPhones. I do not love them for children. And I have over a decade of knowledge and data to back up the why. So we can go back and forth about that in the comments, or you can just trust me.
Mic drop. All right. So we've discussed all the reasons why an Android is better than an iPhone for kids.
Yeah.
An Android with the Bark app on it is even better than an iPhone for kids. Why is the Bark phone the best option when it comes to introducing your kid to their first smartphone?
I'm so glad you asked. Look, I get it. I work at Bark. I'm the chief parent officer. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't the best. There are other players in this space, and if they were better, I'd be working for them. And Time agrees with me.
Yes.
As do many other reputable third-party entities that have tested all the smartphones out there and also say the Bark phone is the best, safest smartphone for kids. Actual parents designed it using actual feedback from families.
Yes.
I couldn't think of a better tech tool. It was made with care and intention and excellence. Every feature on the Bark phone is intended to help protect kids and give parents greater control over their child's online world, while also giving children the ability to explore and utilize tech in a safe way. Because it's not about being completely tech-free. And it's cool if you want to do that, but that's not what this is about. It's about giving children the ability to embrace and utilize tech as a tool that doesn't bring them harm. And we're also always rolling out features that parents request of us. But again, it's safe. When Apple releases their newest operating system, it comes with really cool features that also put kids in danger.
Yes.
For example, one of the most recent ones was the ability for anybody to join a FaceTime link and video chat with you, which cool for me, right? My dad is an Android, and I'm like, hey, Dad, click this link. We can now chat via video. And he's like, whoa. But like if you're 12 and
you just put that anywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So anyway. The second thing is that it's tamper-proof for even the savviest kids. You get your kid an iPhone, you put parental controls on it, kids are going to circumvent it because they are, and because Reddit.
Yeah, it happens constantly. The amount of posts in the Facebook group talking about that problem specifically, I mean, you could go on for days reading those posts.
Yeah. If you want your parental controls to actually stick and be effective and do what you intended them to do, it's not going to work for you if you go iPhone. It will work for you if you go with Bark phone. Also, our alerts help save lives every day. It'd be one thing if children were not encountering harmful content and harmful people, and suicide wasn't the second leading cause of death in children today, and there weren't over 500,000 predators online at any given point. That'd be great if that wasn't the case, but that is the case. And so the Bark phone comes with our award-winning, life-saving monitoring built right into the device. It can't be removed. It automatically monitors text, so many social media apps, which allows for seamless detection of potential issues, including time-sensitive ones that have and will continue to save children's lives.
Yes.
We cannot say that for Apple.
No.
I will say crash detection on Apple devices. I'm sure that does count. So like 1 point in the column for Apple.
Just one.
But just one. Next is that the Bark phone is 100% customizable. So if you only want your third grader to be able to text mom, dad, and 911, and that's it, Bark phone.
Yep.
You want your 17-year-old to be able to do all the things that a high-powered smartphone can do with some guardrails, also Bark phone.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Some parents opt for a no internet, no app plan. Others opt for some vetted apps. And, other kids and older kids, parents might just take a more hands-off approach, but still check alerts from time to time for any potential issues. Because we know 17-year-olds who are being scammed on Instagram and sextorted. It can happen.
Yeah.
Good kids make bad choices. Finally, and there's an asterisk here because we keep rolling out new features that continue to set us apart and be better than Apple for children. But kids can't delete text without permission. So many parents think, I'm just going to go through my kid's phone, right? Well, you know what your kid's doing on the bus? They are deleting the you-know-what out of stuff before they're like, yeah, sure, here, look at my phone. You're not going to find anything.
Yep.
Not with a Bark phone.
Not so fast.
Yeah. And shout out to Haley Zapel for helping us organize our thoughts around all of this. As she says so eloquently, remember, iPhones will always be there. You're not saying never.
Yeah.
Your kid can have an iPhone eventually.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They will always be there.
Yes.
You can transition to one eventually.
Yeah.
You just don't need one as your first phone.
Yeah. And I think that more parents need to be okay saying that. One of the, you made the point, you wouldn't give them a Ferrari for their first car. You also, why do they need to have $1,000+ phone for their first phone then,
Right?
Like, they're going to drop it. They're going to lose it.
Break.
Yeah. It's
water damage, Kool-Aid damage, whatever.
Yeah.
Sticky stuff. Imagine just what's in the book bag.
Yeah.
Ew. As Jimmy Fallon says, ow. But yeah, I mean, I just want to say, just choose the Bark phone.
Yeah, please.
Or literally any phone besides an iPhone. The ability to pause apps instantly, approve contacts in real time, scan over 30 platforms for harm. It gives parents true control, confidence, and peace of mind. And what parent doesn't want that?
Yeah, I love it. And I think it also gives kids a little freedom, It allows them to start to learn how they should be using tech and use it in a smart and safe way. And I think that, we've heard feedback that kids are like, I love my Bark phone.
Yeah.
Like they're happy with it. It does exactly what they need it to do. I mean, I think most times, honestly, the Android camera usually beats out the iPhone camera. So there could be ways you could sway them.
Yeah.
So.
And I think we'll probably be rolling out soon, a try it. If you go to some of our in-person events, our community events, our alternative device fairs, if you hear that Bark is going to speak at a school or a conference, chances are we're going to have a few devices. You come up, ask for one. We'll just let you take it and try it for 2 weeks. See what your kid thinks. They might love it, and then you can keep it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts or parting words for anyone listening to this episode?
Just get over yourself. Get over yourself and your obsession with the Apple ecosystem and the blue bubble and the designer name brand everything. Oh my gosh. Like, for real.
Yeah.
If like, to Tanya, 10 years ago, I'm talking to you. If you didn't have to have the Lulu and the Nike and the label, you would have so much more money in your bank account.
Right.
Do you want money, or do you want fake acceptance from people who don't actually care about you? I'll take more money and more peace of mind. Thanks.
Yes.
Bye.